Find the exact value of each of the following expressions. So we got tangent 40 degrees. In fact, 40 degree is not a standard angle. So we are not going to use a unit circle to write down the exact value. We know that 0 degree, 30 degrees, 45 degrees or pi over 4, 60 degrees, 90 degrees, and their corresponding angles in other quadrants are standard angles, but 40 is not here. In fact, pi over 5 in part B, pi over 5 is not there. So we will use identities to simplify these. Okay. And first, let me write down some identities. It has a quotient identity, the quotient of sine and cosine. So we have to have same angle. Sine over cosine is tangent. Okay. And if we do reciprocal, that would be cotangent. And there are reciprocal identities. 1 over sine, that would be cosecant. 1 over cosine, that's secant. And 1 over tangent, that's cotangent. Okay, these are reciprocal identities. And we can also rewrite this as 1 over cosine is sine, 1 over secant is cosine, and 1 over cotangent is tangent as well. So depending on our need, we can write 1 over cosecant is sine or 1 over sine is cosecant. Generally, when we simplify expressions, we want to write down sine cosine. Okay, so let's do it here in part A. So we got tangent, so we need to simplify or find the exact value. So we want to go for sine cosine. So tangent is in fact sine 40 over cosine 40. Okay, using this quotient identity. Here we got a fraction cosine 40, that's already good. Okay, we want to keep sine cosine. But here comes cosecant. Okay, cosecant here from this one, cosecant is 1 over sine. So on the top, I can write 1 over sine 40. Okay, and here times. Now 1 over secant is square. That square is in fact, the whole idea here is secant square theta is in fact secant theta quantity squared. This is the shorthand notation. Okay, so this is 1 over secant square. You can think 1 over secant. So what is 1 over secant? Look at that second. 1 over cosine is secant. That means 1 over secant is cosine. So this 1 over secant, we can simply write this ratio, this reciprocal is cosine. Not theta, our angle is 40 degrees, so, and square as well, square 40 degrees. Okay, so I was trying to erase here. Now let's look at this. 1 over sine over cosine. This sign is on the bottom, by the way. If we keep this fraction, change this, we can flip. We can write this over and flip. Okay, let me do that. Okay, or you can cancel a lot of things here. Sine 40 degrees over cosine 40 times 1 over sine 40. If we change this division into multiplication, we need to flip 1 over cosine 40, and here comes cosine 40 squared, 2 copies of cosine 40 degrees. On the top sine 40 cancel. So on the bottom cosine 40. When we multiply, on the bottom cosine 40 squared, I mean 2 copies. When we multiply x and x, that's x squared. So cosine times cosine 40 squared. that we write as cosine square 40. So 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. Everything cancel. That means these are times, so we are left with just 1, not 0 though. Okay, it's the final answer. So let's do part B. Again, pi over 5 is not a standard angle, so we need to use some identities. Oh, there is a tangent of negative angle. Okay, these are even odd functions. Sine and tangent are odd functions. That means sine of negative is negative of sine angle. Tangent of negative means just pull the negative outside. But cosine is even function. So cosine of negative is same as cosine of that angle. The negative is just gone. Even functions. So here, let's do it. Sine pi over 5 plus cosine pi over 5 is a times. So let's work on this one. I have no information. Sine plus cosine is nothing. In fact, we need to do the multiplication first. So I'm going to copy this. Sine pi over 5. We need to multiply first, okay? Not add. And cosine pi over 5 times tangent of negative means times negative of tangent. Okay, this negative times means it comes to in the middle. So sine pi over 5 minus, okay, now we need to work on this product, cosine times tangent. Whenever we simplify, we always try to write down sine cosine if possible. Here it's possible because tangent is essentially sine over cosine. So this negative is due to this one. Here comes cosine pi over 5 times tangent is it's a quotient of sine and cosine. Okay, tangent is sine over cosine. This cosine on the top, cosine on the bottom cancel. And that leaves what? Sine pi over 5 minus sine pi over 5. Same thing. Sine pi over 5 minus sine over 5. Same thing means when we subtract, it's 0. Final.